Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And earlier today, a buddy of mine sent me a video out of Portland, Oregon that was just jarring and disturbing and ugly, in my opinion. And what really sealed the deal on how ugly it was is when it concludes, you can hear kind of a little like, playful laughter from the person that recorded it, or what I like to call the victim. The victim of a dystopian society that looks more and more like China every single day. Every single day. And that's why when you have this narrative being put out there that it's China versus the United States and it's the Chinese virus and it came from China, right? Being pushed upon us by an administration we can't trust. And then on the flip side, you have China saying it's an American bioweapon. You have the perfect storm for communism versus capitalism. The good old US of A in freedom versus tyranny. But is that what's really going on? No, we're all evolving into this thing together. So before we show you this video, again, that was on TikTok that was very worrisome to me, I want to remind everybody, 100% fully demonetized on this platform. I'm not sure how much longer I'm actually going to be on this platform. Earlier today, I was in talks with finally getting my own website together and doing some interesting things there. I've reached out to numerous platforms as well, and we'll get into them. Obviously, I'm doing 5 exclusives on Rockfin now a week. Some of them are for free, so you can sign up for Rockfin and check them out. We stream noon Tuesdays free every single week. So without further ado, guys, I want to take you over to my Twitter account, and I'm going to let you watch it. I'm going to let you watch this video, and you tell me what you think here, because is this okay?
Please look at camera for entry.
And if you stand on the shoes and look into the spheroid until you get the green light, that'll open the door for you.
Tell them to stand on the shoes. Oh, it went green. I can come in. The facial recognition is letting me into Jackson's Mart.
And if you stand on the
Now,
shoes,
we're going to get into this because, as far as I know, this is the only private store that's actually doing this. Now watch, it goes green. Oh, I can go in now. Yay! Yay! I can go in a convenience store and get a pack of cigarettes or a 6-pack of beer. Or I can shovel Twinkies down my face now that I've given the camera my biometric facial recognition. What in the actual... Now, I wanted to point out that apparently, I'm getting intel that these things have been implemented over the past year. And about a month and a half ago in February, late February, Portland is trying to ban this. This is a big store. What do I mean that this is a big store? When you read down how many stores these guys actually have and where they are located, okay, it's kind of frightening. Where is it? I want to make sure that we get there. I know it was in, there we go. Jackson has more than 250 stores in Arizona, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, Utah, and Washington. Oregon is home to 56 locations, and 16 of them in Portland. But the company only uses facial recognition at 3 of these Portland locations. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, this is to fight crime. They don't want the bad guys inside. It's always to protect you from the bad guys. And now that we're seeing more and more stores implement, and we're going to get into China in a second, implement cameras with heat signatures because of the coronavirus? What? And if we get to the point where they tell you that reopening means that you either have to have tested for the antibodies, or you had to get the vaccine, or you're not allowed to work in a certain place, or you can't come into this business. We're in a damn bad situation. Try to keep the language on the lower levels. I know I get the complaints sometimes that I go a little hard, okay? But how do you not go hard when an already authoritarian society is rolling out even more dystopian measures? Yes, China is now fitting the homes of people with CCTV cameras. Now, don't get me wrong. We all got our little lovely track trace database device, and in China, in order to buy and trade, you have to have a certain app on the phone. It's all state run. It's nightmarish. It's horrible. But here in the United States, it's very similar. They're not forcing you into that situation, but let's look at the logistics. And I'm going to show you them actually putting the cameras in their homes to ensure people don't leave during lockdowns. Because that's okay. So let's look at it this way, right? Just about every single American citizen has some kind of a cell phone. You have a social security number for sure. For sure. But let's say you're here illegally. You have a cell phone. Okay? You do. You got one. That has geolocations on it. Now, we can get into the idea that maybe some of the poorer or older Americans don't use that technology. Guess what they're on? They're on some kind of federal or state aid. Therefore, they are always on some level being tracked, traced, and databased by the government. Okay? And remember, South Korea, when they went into their lockdown, what do? They took away the monetary supply and went full digital. So you've got GPS location, you've got facial recognition, you've got a track, trace, database society that's going to record every single financial transaction you have, and you've got a social credit score in China that's already restricting the movement of people, restricting their access to travel, whether it be by train or plane, restricting their children's education as to where they can go. Is anybody worried or upset yet? And I want to point this out as well, okay? When you see apartment buildings now having government CCTV cameras implemented in the hallways of large buildings, when you already have so many of these in the public squares that if you jaywalk, all of a sudden your social credit score goes down and you're fined on the spot automatically, takes it right out of your account. The powers that be, the predator class, the people outside of the United States government that believe in the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and believe me, there aren't that many of them at the top, right? The ones that run the politicians that constantly lie to you, that in many cases were professional liars as lawyers before they rise up the ranks in politics. Not always, but many times. I mean, they're really seasoned at it. They're the ones that adore this, that want to see a society where this is acceptable. And the fear they've put on people, you don't know where it's going to go. So many people will be begging for this. I wanted to point out also the Rockefeller Foundation has now rolled out their plan to test 30 million people a week to reopen the country. I don't know if you guys have seen the swab tests yet, but we've played them here, and they stick a Q-tip up to your brain. Not taking one of those. Not taking one of those. Not voluntarily giving my blood to the government. Not taking a vaccine. Not happening. And for you guys out there that have been following me on this, I 100% believe this is real. And I think that the evidence points toward not a natural virus, but a bioweapon release. And yet I don't think that any of these solutions are good. And they never were. And I've been speaking out against them before the lockdown even happened. But here we are, and this is the rollout. And I want to say this also, because when we're talking about facial recognition, this is not new. Facial recognition, track trace database is not new. This is stuff that I was talking about in my film Invisible Empire from 2010 that is now a decade plus old. And you can watch free here in the playlist section, by the way. I fully encourage you to check that movie out. Poured my heart and soul out into it. But they'll also use what? Religion. The Vatican joins IBM, Microsoft to call for facial recognition regulation. This also in late February. Oh, he was the cool Pope, remember? He wasn't your pappy's Pope. He was the #1 Pope, motorcycle riding Pope. Sir Pope's a lot. He's changing everything. Pope Francis. No, he's not. No, he's right in line with the establishment, and he will use the tools he has, which is an adoring mass of people who blindly follow what he says because he occasionally wears a funny hat. That's not to shit on religion. Didn't mean to curse there, kind of a B-level curse, but I'm just saying that when you see the levers of high-level organized religion, whether that be Catholicism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, it is often used to manipulate and control the masses and has very little to do with spirituality and your connection with God. I'm just putting that out there. That's my personal opinion from following these things for decades, and especially religion. A lot of people don't know this about me, but as a young kid, I was raised a Christian. I went to church quite a bit. When my parents got divorced, aside from my mother's side of the family, which was Italian, very heavily into Christianity, so much so that some of my cousins only went to Christian schools. And not just from one parent, you know what I mean? It was one of those things where that was really pushed upon. But then when my father got a new girlfriend, her father happened to be a pastor. So on like weekends, we would stay in this church, and we would be front row at Mass, and we would also go to Sunday school as well, and attend all the events and whatnot. And from that, I know that there are many benefits. There's a sense of community. There's a sense of brotherhood. There is a sense of spirituality. But when you get to those upper echelons, it's all manipulated. It's all manipulated. So, folks, I want to once again point out that I am 100% demonetized on this platform. I'm hoping to stay because I'm able to reach you guys, right? 50,000 plus strong, but I am expanding. But $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Those that can donate more, Jeff Lerner, Brenda Collins, Robert May, thank you so much for those large-scale donations. I really got to try to hit that $5,000 goal every month, push as hard as I can towards that without any income from YouTube. Make sure you're thumbing them up, sharing them, telling people to subscribe, check out my stuff. I don't know where the harmful content is, guys. I'm trying to give you an informed way to make decisions. Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. They're free right here, right now, in the playlist section. Make sure you check them out. And like I said, you can go check me out over at Rockfin as well, rockfin.com, Jason Burmis. Costs you nothing to sign up. If you do endorse me for $9.99 a month, it's like a Netflix for creators. You get all this other stuff. I also want to point out that I am on Minds. I'm posting over there. Another great platform that is decentralized, not censoring voices. Minds.com/Jason Burmis. I'm going to start putting original content there too, but it's pretty tough to do so. I'd like you guys, if you're posting original content on several platforms, to check out this offer from Minds, which is a $50 plus bounty for sharing their platform via other platforms out there. So you can go check that out. There's also a link in the description. And I just want to say, look, we got to push back as hard as we can. San Francisco pushed back on the facial recognition, and they needed to do so. Portland, you better push back hard. Jackson's, you're disgusting. I don't want to hear that this is to ensure that you're not going to be robbed. Give me a break. That is nonsense. I mean, what's to say that a criminal just doesn't come over by the camera, have somebody stand there, right? Use the facial recognition. As the door opens, they go in. So now you've got another victim in the crime. None of it makes sense. Again, it's all about control. It's not about safety. Love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.